His claim last week that a massive crowd at a rally for Vice President Kamala Harris, quote, didn't exist and nobody was there. Trump wrote on social media that photos and videos of the crowd were AI generated, which they were not.
The Republican Party has two major problems. The first is their leader is insane, a malignant narcissist, a sociopathic, psychopathic, weak little man who sprays orange all over his body and takes an hour to do his hair. But apparently, that's not their biggest problem.
She was a prosecutor, and he's a felon.
No, the Republican Party's biggest problem, they hate everything, and they want you to get goosebumps over that.
They've had 4 years to figure this out. I asked Corey Lewandowski about it yesterday. He said, absolutely. They have this amazing ground game. And Democrats they'll release, well, we have 31 offices in North Carolina. We have this many offices in Michigan. Republicans don't. And so the question is it because they don't? And we also know that Democrats have these places in full force all the time.
How do you get Republicans, or whatever's left of them, to work long hours in states like Georgia and North Carolina? Good question. Could it be the platform? Or maybe I'm just spitballing here. This guy?
Because I don't want anybody going on me. We need every voter. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
Democrats have volunteers working toward lofty goals. Rights for minorities, civil rights, rights for women, environmental protections, rights for workers, fair and equitable taxes, affordable housing, and of course, the Constitution. What is the Republican platform?
90% of the time, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
It's not calculus to see why no one wants to work for Trump. Let's start by looking at the people around him.
And she wants to yell at Donald Trump because he showed up. She can go to hell.
Think about that. Trump's goons bullied a cemetery worker at Arlington National Cemetery. You couldn't make that up. And Hillbilly Vance bullied a former beauty contestant, comparing this painful moment to Kamala Harris.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have that.
It was only afterwards Vance discovered that the beauty contestant had contemplated suicide. He wouldn't even apologize. He wrote the protest off as people who can't take a joke.
I'd much rather have a candidate who's willing to go off script, who's willing to give every interview, and is willing to tell some jokes.
Really, JD? Do you think this was funny?
JD Vance also has a non-white wife, an Indian wife, and a kid named Vivek. All his kids have Indian names. So it's like, what exactly are we getting here? And that's not a dig at him just because I'm a racist or something. But it's like, who is this guy really? Do we really expect that the guy who has an Indian wife and named their kid Vivek is going to support white identity?
The entire Trump circle is filled with the people least qualified to inspire anyone to do the hard work of knocking on doors and handing out flyers. Have you met these people?
You think that Trump is actually still in power right now?
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
So you think Biden is not the current president right now?
Sir.
No.
No, sir. Never believed it.
So Trump is the current president right now?
Yes, sir.
So are you mad at Trump for the high gas prices?
No. It's not Trump's fault.
Whose fault is it then?
He's got to set all this.
But Joe Biden, where's Joe Biden? He said he's not president.
He's not the president.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is.
So how could the gas prices be his fault if he's not president?
What you don't understand what they're trying to do. They have to wake up the dingleberries that are still asleep.
They are inspired, but to do what? Hate, maybe.
So it looks like Donald Trump's campaign manager will not be prosecuted over a confrontation with a reporter. Corey Lewandowski was charged with battery, accused of grabbing and shoving Breitbart News reporter Michelle Fields at a rally in Florida last month. A source tells ABC News prosecutors have decided not to move forward with the case. A formal announcement is expected today.
This guy is now in charge of Trump's campaign, and that's trouble because he's a piece of shit, and other Trump people hate him. In 2016, Corey Lewandowski was arrested for intentionally grabbing and bruising the arm of a female reporter. He was charged with misdemeanor battery. At the time, Trump defended him, telling reporters,
I think it's a very, very sad day in this country when a man could be destroyed over something like that.
Yeah, that from the guy who said,
hey, when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab him by the...
Well, you know the rest. Lewandowski, however, was fired a few months later after some infighting with Paul Manafort, who worked with Ukraine dictator Yanukovych and Putin. Manafort ultimately replaced him. Lewandowski was then removed as the head of the Make America Great Again super PAC in 2021 after he was accused of unwanted sexual advances toward a Trump donor. But now he's back. And that's what Fox News' Martha McCullum meant when she said the GOP had 4 years to figure this out and they foobarred the whole thing. There is nothing left to inspire new Republicans except hate. They package their hate and anger and sell it to these idiots.
In his opinion, there's no such thing as hate speech in America. How do you stand on that?
I believe in hate speech. When you have hate for somebody, I am 100% into speech.
But these people won't go door to door canvassing new voters, and that's the problem. After a while, hate is like a cancer. You drink Diet Coke every day for 30 years and you get a tumor that looks like this. Inspiring people to work for you or a cause, well, it takes a certain talent.
Donald Trump wants to take our country backward. But we are not going back.
Harris emerged as that person from an unlikely place, law enforcement. And ironically, she has stolen that from the Republicans as well. When Derek Chauvin did this, Republicans didn't say anything about the cops. They complained about black people protesting. But that doesn't make you pro-law enforcement. It makes you a racist dick.
I stopped low-income towers from rising right alongside of their house. And I'm keeping the illegal aliens away from the suburbs. I think that they like me a lot.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
The core of Fox News is hand in hand with Trump and is dominated by these four, and that's not good for Fox or Republicans. Have you heard them lately?
She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now...
Jesse.
Whoa, Jesse. Now, I don't see why any man would vote Democrat. It's not the party of virtue, security. It's not the party of strength. It's definitely not the party of family. And to be a man and then vote for a woman just because she's a woman is either childish, that person has mommy issues, or they're just trying to be accepted by other women. And I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes for a woman, he actually transitions into a woman.
How would any woman be a MAGA today? How could they not see this party is set to track your period so they know when you're fertile, so they can stop you from using birth control, so you can pop out another redneck, waterhead, mewling little Trump voter? Oh yeah, and everything I said is in Project 2025.
Alternative facts.
Now that's a perfect example of someone who has all the values and sincerity of a styrofoam cup. And Trump surrounds himself with people who are either so evil, so wired for mayhem that they can't help themselves, or they're like J.D. Vance, so thoroughly insincere that their moral compass is permanently set on me, me, me. This election will be determined by a couple things. Can Democrats convince Americans that everything that works in this country for them is essentially socialism without using that word? From roads and clean water to scientific achievements to police and the military, it's a combined effort, as opposed to billionaires like Musk, Trump, Bezos, and Peter Thiel, who pay less in taxes than a school teacher. What Trump and the Republican Party have done well is to convince these hillbillies that they too can one day visit Mar-a-Lago. And maybe they will, but not like they think. Looks like they're making Melania's next home.
Damn right.
I'm ready. Let's go.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore!
Trust me.
Shut the fuck up, Dan.
Who's with me? Oh yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock!
We're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.